Weapons, I was excited to see it from the get-go because it's a director who did Barbarian.
Zach Cregger.
Zach Cregger, that's his name. Yeah, and Barbarian is fantastic. I know you haven't seen it, but it's one of those horror movies that just... it's better when you don't know much about it, and I think that it's the same can be applied to this movie. Like, we went in with
completely blind,
and that's, I think, how you should go see this movie. So I don't want to spoil anything. I'm going to be as completely vague as possible, and I think this is one of those movies where you can kind of get away with talking about it while still not giving away much of the plot. But essentially, I think it is better than Barbarian. Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. And, you know, like we said, went in completely blind. And it just really surprised me, especially not even being aware of Zach Cregger's previous work.
In this movie, it does a really great job of just keeping you in the dark of just the whole plot. And I think it's actually one of the best movies that have come out recently that are like trying to discover like a missing person's case, like just following these characters that are just, you know, picking it apart and discovering all these things. I thought it was so intriguing, and it is deliberately paced. Like it's quite slowly paced, would you say? Like
it's slow burn.
Yeah, it's a
massive slow burn.
But I thought it paid off massively. I was never bored throughout the film.
Me neither. And what I love about it is it's such a simple but effective premise.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, those who have seen the poster, you know, it's just these kids who are running out there, you know, their arms.
Yeah, yeah.
So simple. You want to know where the hell are they going?
Yeah, what the hell happened?
What's happening? It's just fantastic.
And that's essentially what the movie's all about.
And the other thing that I've loved, because I obviously didn't see Barbarian, and correct me if this is the same structure that he uses, but the fact that this is told from different points of view, like a Rashomon type thing.
Yeah,
I haven't really seen that in a horror film.
Yeah, me neither.
I think that added so much for me.
Yeah,
like I was never bored. I constantly wanted to know. Okay, but you know, what happened here? What happened there? And I think that's just a really like inventive way of approaching it, because in the hands of, like, you know, a lesser filmmaker, this could be a very cliched, silly idea.
I actually think in the hands of a lesser filmmaker, it could have also been, if he was to go through with the structure that this movie does, it could have been very confusing. But at no point was I confused. Like, you're seeing things from, like, you're going back and forth and seeing things from people's different perspective. But never was I in a place where I was like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what's going on here. So I think he did a really good job of just making it like really cohesive and easy to understand, while also playing around with a really interesting structure. And Barbarian kind of does do that, but he does this on like a more complicated, bigger scale in this movie. And I think he just absolutely nailed it. Like, from the very beginning, it creates this atmosphere of just, and that's what I love about movies. When you sit down and you watch a movie and you just really do not know what is going to happen, you have this real sense of like, I am so intrigued to see how this all uncovers. And I think that's partly what people were saying when they're critiquing the second half. Like, I think a lot of people have had issues with the second half, because I think that's just a natural consequence of just having a movie like this, where the mystery is the thing that propels you through the story. And once the mystery starts getting taken apart and you start like uncovering it, people can feel a little bit dissatisfied with that. But I completely disagree. I thought that the mystery itself, like once it does get uncovered, was just really intriguing. And I think that people have had issues with the ending. I can't really pinpoint what that is. Like, I don't get what people mean when they said like, oh, you know, I just felt dissatisfied with it. Like, I don't know what people were expecting.
Maybe they just had certain expectations they weren't met, or they were looking for a little more resolution, but I don't think that's always needed.
Like, I think that's just like a feature to one of these sort of mystery style movies. Once it all comes apart, you're like, oh, well, now I know. And there was the magic of it was being in that point in the movie where you did not know what the mystery was.
I will say, I can see for some people, not all, like going back to this film, knowing the mystery, it might be a tad less effective. I'm not saying that for me personally. I thought it was fantastic, but I could completely understand if someone felt that way, because like you said, the source of it is the mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it works so well. All that build up. And for some people, once that build up is taken away, maybe they might not enjoy it as much, or might look for plot holes. And look, within the horror genre, you're always going to find a couple of plot holes. I think even Cregger said that himself.
Oh, really?
I can't remember which interview. But he says, I know there are going to be plot holes.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just think, with most horror movies that are just so centered on like like spiritual stuff and like set in a haunted house and shit, and everything just gets so over the top, like there's an exorcism or some shit that's just, I don't know, just completely throws me out of it. You know, second half issues are like a recurring thing with horror movies. But I really did not see it with this movie. I thought it was very like well restrained. And what I love about this movie, actually, and what I'm just realizing, like now I'm saying it, is just like the suspenseful moments in this movie have such a restraint in terms of like the musical beats and stuff like that. Like there are parts that are like full of fun, different music. But also what I love about this movie is that the style of the music is always different, because this movie is very layered. Some people wouldn't even class it as a horror. I'd say that there are elements in the movie that are actually really well done, like just as a part of a horror film. Like they're really effective. The jump scares I felt was like, you know, because this is the thing, you know, people talk a lot of shit about horror, about jump scares, and, you know, say they're overdone, which is true. And this movie could have done without them. But every time a jump scare happened in this movie, I was impressed with how effective it was, like how genuinely well done it was. It's all about the build up. It's all, and he just knows how to like culminate a good experience of a jump scare.
And I think if you're on board with the story, with the characters, with the world that's been set up and created, you know, you can get on with the jump scares. You know, you can like, appreciate them. And the other thing I really loved about this film was the comedy, because I feel like so often in horror, comedy is really hard to do, and it often feels like a distraction rather than adding to it, and it can come across as unintentionally hilarious. I mean, The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage, like I'm going to keep saying that is hilarious, but for all the wrong reasons. I feel like in Weapons, like Cregger puts the comedy in, but like completely intentional, because he knows, despite how like seriously, you know, the stakes are presented, and really effectively, I might add. Like, I feel the danger. Whenever there's a bit of comedy, I feel like that was intentional. You know what you're doing. Didn't you find that?
No, 100%. Yeah. That's what we loved about Barbarian. Like, Barbarian did very well.
I'm intrigued to see that.
Yeah, and it's just that, it's just about packing in more stuff into a horror film, because horror films can be very one note. This is what I was saying about the music. It's just the same kind of tonal music throughout the movie. It's just about, oh, we're trying to scare you, we're trying to scare you, we're trying to scare you. And it shies away from having flawed dickhead characters in their films, because you just want you to root for them. But what he manages to do is show flawed characters, like the homeless guy, you know, being a dickhead, doing stupid things. And there's also...
I mean, the teacher, I thought she was a bloody weird character.
Did you think?
Yeah, something off about her.
What, the girl?
The blonde, the blonde
at
lady.
The beginning. Oh my God, interesting. Yeah. No, I like that we start off with her. We start off with her character, and then it jumps around. And I'm a massive, massive fan of anything that shows things from people's different perspective.
Yeah.
When it plays out of seeing like a, you know, you're watching a scene and then you go back to it and you see it from a different point of view. That is just my bread and butter, man. Like, and this was done really well, because it's just so fascinating to see a character that you were following in the first bit walking along in the background, and now it's being seen from this point of view, and you're noticing things that happen that you didn't understand, and it all clicks together. And I think he does a great job of just making environments and, you know, just locations have their own character and their personalities. That's what he did really well in Barbarian as well, because it's all centered around this one location, like based in an Airbnb, and you have the feeling that they're not just scary places, they are characters in themselves. And like parts in this movie where you're just watching like a door weirdly open in the background, and you're just like, something just doesn't look right about that. Like, that just doesn't feel right. It's just really effective. I was just, I went to see this movie twice because I just had such a good time. I thought it was great. I was just like, this is doing so much of what has been missing from horror movies. And it's just about making horror movies just be a good time. You know what I mean? You show up to the cinema and it is a good time, full of weird developments, different kind of combinations of emotions, just laughs and
remind people how unique this genre can be.
Yes, exactly.
Because for some people, you know, horror has become a massive punching bag.
Yeah.
It really has, and I feel like, you know, films like this and a lot of like Ari Aster's work, I think, show why horror is a genre that, you know, always has so many layers.
Yeah.
and deserves to be appreciated.
So much, yeah.
Films like this they're keeping the genre alive. I think. Can we just give a shout out to the main kid? What an actor!
Oh yeah, he's great.
Because your child actors are they can be really hit or miss. Good kid actors are hard to come by, but this kid is so believable.
Yeah,
and just so in tune with the tone of the film.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense. He was fantastic, and Josh Brolin, beast of an actor.
So going into a little bit of spoiler territory here, essentially, it ends up being a bit of a mix of supernatural and elements like that. Do you think that worked well? Like it kind of it made sense because a lot of people maybe were disappointed in that it was ended up being like a witch, like an evil witch controlling people and stuff. But I as ridiculous as it is, I always felt like it was just grounded.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean?
That's the main thing.
He
does such a good job at establishing the stakes, giving us very, relatable, realistic characters. You can go along with it and accept it.
Yeah.
If the stakes weren't believable, or if the characters were unlikable or whatnot, or they weren't interesting, that could probably backfire. I couldn't go along with it, but it worked really well. And man, she was bloody terrifying.
Yeah, she worked really well. Oh my god!
Yeah. I'm never trusting a hair braid again, or whatever it is she had. God,
it doesn't shy away from really intensely gory scenes as well. Jesus Christ!
That bloody scene, where the headmaster Benedict Wong comes.
Oh my god!
With that shit he's doing with his eyes.
Yeah. Terrifying.
So
effective. And what I like is that he grabs horror from settings that you wouldn't usually consider scary, just the image of someone running along the road with that weird Naruto run, right, is just creepy in itself. The way that it's shot, it's very much about how we look at these things in this movie. It's not so much about what's going on, but more just about the perspective that we're looking at it from. Even when I can't remember her name. What's her name? Justine's character, who's Julia Garner, is just a great actress as well, and I really like her character in it. And Josh Brolin's a bit of a questionable character as well, because I don't know if you noticed is that his son at the end is revealed to be the one who was the bully.
Yeah.
That was
really interesting.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice, because it's very much about how he was a neglectful dad at the beginning, and he only started to care once the son went missing, which I think is an interesting thing. A lot of people have also mentioned the gun that was floating on the top of the house. And
what does that mean?
Yeah, representing.
I think you can definitely draw your own interpretations from that.
Yeah,
because a very I guess your surface level reaction to that would be, the children are just they're weapons. It's a gun, hence the title. But I think you can take what you can from it. I don't entirely know what I think it means.
Yeah,
the gun, but the fact that it's there.
A lot of people said that it's about relating to school shootings, that sort of thing, which is interesting. I don't know. It's just a fucking gun.
But I think that that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I think I thought that image,
what it means.
Image in that movie, in that certain bit, the fact that it was a surrealist moment. Anyway, I really enjoyed how he just put that image in there and just kind of didn't say anything about it.
Yeah,
I think horror movies should do that, and I think it did a really. And it has the 217 written on it, and you can only dimly see it. And it's just there's certain imagery in this movie where it just takes you a while to figure out what's going on. And like what I was saying, when you're seeing it perspective of Julia Garner's character, where she's sitting in the car and the camera is just focusing on her, and she's asleep, and it's in the middle of the night. And you see someone walking in the background.
Oh God, you mean the parents where she cuts off her?
Yeah.
Hair.
They're just waddling in the background.
Yeah.
And they're out of focus, and it doesn't the camera there's no music telling you it's really scary. You don't need that. You're just focusing on her, and then all of a sudden you hear the car door open in the background, and someone's getting in, and everyone in the cinema was oh my God, because of the way that it was presented. That moment could have been so goofily done.
Yeah, this was definitely a crowd pleaser. I love watching it with an audience.
Absolutely. And Barbarian is another one of those movies where it's just it's just so full of highs and lows and ups and downs, and just a mix of emotions, laughs, and it was just a great time. I loved it.
I love the moment towards the end of this. Is my favorite bit of comedy where Josh Brolin, I can't remember who he was fighting.
Oh my God,
he won't stay down.
That was so good. He was
just
the homeless guy.
For fuck's sake.
that's just a bit where it's just like that's deliberately trying to be funny because he knows, like you said, it's a crowd pleaser. Like it's breaking the tension a little bit, and it was I couldn't stop laughing at that bit. He just keeps getting up, going like that. And I like the bit where Josh Brolin, like he punches him, and then he looks at his fist because it's like fucking hurting, and it's like showing that that's actually what would happen to a character. He's been fucking knocking him out every.
Shit, I didn't realize.
Yeah, and it was just really well done. If you're a fan of horror movies, I'd definitely go see it.
Check it out.
Not necessarily because it's extremely scary or anything, but just because it's just great fun and has really good elements of horror in it, but also elements of a bunch of different stuff. So yeah.